Hello, one and all. We are on to the Rift here for Game 4. We did have an unfortunate production moment there. The stream kind of died, but thanks to our back-end staff, we are back alive and well and on the Rift. We did miss the last sort of couple rounds and picks of draft. So, Foxy, we'll have to break it down together. Looks like Winter's gone towards the Scion. We've got ourselves Malice on a Hecarim, a champion that, of course, is again one of his known picks, even if it isn't as common as, say, something like the Karthus or the Udyr, but it's back away from things like the Poppy and onto something with a little bit more farming and carry potential.
Exactly, that's the key part of it. Farming, carry, all that lovely business. Paired with the Orianna as well, so a pretty solid ball delivery system, which we'll have to see if that one gets thrown in as this game goes on. And some more early aggression coming through again from Lightside, which I believe was it's their best chance. It's their best chance of having success, and it's what they've been able to do so far, I would say, when they succeeded, especially in that last game, and in moments in Game 1 as well, as we get a cheeky little evade here for level 1.
Interesting they do, of course, under the blue buff. There was a time not so long ago where Hecarim was incredibly dependent on the blue buff because he was so mana hungry, but Winter blast coned over and ate a lot of Jinx damage, and Bash isn't exactly that much higher HP either. Will smite away the camp and succeed. Hecarim heading towards the other side. Of course, Gwen is currently just farming freely in the top side. Natter and Alaric a little aware of some of the threat they could be under, but Winter will reset and look to get towards that turret at the top side and at least be able to claim most of this wave at his turret. It is a Scion. He can just press Q.
Yeah, he's just chilling. It's all good. Plus, he's kind of weak side this game, which is potentially... I mean, it's different from what we saw from game 3, where Winter on that Jax was a big carry. He's probably not going to be doing that on that Scion, and more just like that weak side kind of style. But Harbo here might have an angle on Rako. He's got to be careful. Harbo does have the Conqueror as well, so he can stack that up in these extended exchanges. And once Harbo reaches level 3, that could be something happening there, I think.
Level 2 hit first for LLS. Bot lane here, having a pretty good time of it so far early on in the lane. That's not always been the case this series, as Rako had to flash away! And Harbo's having none of it. Again, this mid laner finding the advantage that Lightside needs.
Yeah, I kind of said it.
You did.
Said it. I was a bit... yeah, well, there it is. That's the level 3 from Silas. Obviously, Silas is one of those champions that loves getting levels just for base damage. But also, when you have a passive that activates off of an ability, you know, like Silas, he's in down these kind of champions, then yeah, getting those extra levels really is a big deal. So nicely done right there for Harbo, and a great start here for Lightside in game number 4.
We're in a bit of a slow motion moment here, so we're just holding on to see exactly how this one plays out. As we did see Bash nab away that Gromp, continuing to try and mitigate Malice's ability to play the game, and that will be as best as they can do, of course. There's been an issue, of course, is stopping Malice from playing the game. Not as easy as you like. I think it was a fight having over the Scuttle Crab as Malice dies somehow, some way. Now they're going to go in again. They'll find themselves Alaric. Blink and you miss it. There's 2 kills over the light side. Make that 3, I think, as someone else died somewhere as well. Looks like we lost ourselves, of course, Rako earlier on. I finally done the counting in my head appropriately.
That's it. There we go. At the end of the day, it's all 4 kills now, excuse me, for Lightside. This might be something for Built, mind you. Or is he just going to die too?
The scoreboard's a little ahead of the curve as Rako's dying again. Ruddy, you're falling apart!
What is this? What is this? We came into this series thinking this was like ridiculously Ruddy-sided, like incredibly Ruddy-sided. They'd already faced each other in a best of 3 and Ruddy destroyed Lightside. And Built's gone in though with that TP. I think Winter might not be long for this world.
Oh, doesn't have
it's
any
just
ability to chase the skip and slash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still waiting on the cooldowns, can't quite find it. And 2 deaths to the Orianna. Malice has been picked off around that Scuttle Crab. Overplay for that one as Winter did finally fall to Built, who catches him on the reset. Snips him down to size and makes that a 1-for-1 overall in the top lane. That's at least Ruddy on the scoreboard. Still down 1,500 gold. Is not a great starting point for this game.
Yeah, still in awkward situation here. Like you say, that's a lot of gold to be down this early, to be honest. Like it's really good stuff here for Lightside. We've really just turned this around from game 1 and game 2, which were just not great games, realistically speaking,
No.
from from the light side. And this last game was crazy as well. The fact they were able to pull that out, and they're destroying it. I can't really believe what I'm seeing. But light side, and here comes another engage.
That's quite deep though. The chompers meant the Hatchers couldn't follow up as well as they wanted to. We've got plays happening all over the place. Stun onto Nata. The turnaround comes on through as the zap lands. But Nata's still the one who comes out worse for wear.
Yeah, just about right there. These trades really working in Lightside's favor. This will be the early dragon as well.
Top lane though, we got ourselves double level 6s hit, and Winter flashes away as those ultimates become available. Down that summoner spell now is Winter. Could prove problematic as the game goes on, and of course this Gwen normally pretty good into those tank matchups. As mid lane though, we had our questions about Rako. Again, this is a person who's not played competitively since 2020. He's been a coach since then. He's been on SK Prime and FlyQuest over on their academy and various general coaching rosters out there. So not really been playing competitively for nearly 4 years at this point. And we had our questions about, well, what happens if the pool is pinched? What happens if he has to go towards more skill-based matchups? And I think we've seen a bit of the answer over the last couple games.
Yeah, he has struggled versus Harbo. The plus side though, I think, you know, this facilitator, more supporty style mid laners is certainly something that Rako wants to lean into, and the Galio was great in game 1, as Harbo now has found Malice, stole his ult as well.
There's a tier list of Silas ults, and Hecarim, for a while, I don't know whether it's still true, used to consider the Hecarim ult the best steal in the game, at least if you wanted the engage option. Wow. It is so nasty. That's some pretty good AP values once you start converting some of those additional ones. I saw that, Nata. Thank you for the zoom in, observers. It's up there for sure. Like, the thing is, like, a Hecarim ult is a great engage which Silas loves, and it even does a decent amount of damage, to be honest. It does once you take. I think it's got good AP values by itself, and then you convert the AD ones as well. It's pretty nasty, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
it's not bad. We'll see what he can do with it, because you know that ulti will time out eventually, and can Lightside force an engage while he has the ulti, and early on with early ranks of Silas ult as well, he won't be able to steal it again for some time.
Malice maybe forced to ult out here. He's very deep. Gets arrowed. Will devastating charge forward for a second. Will ult over the wall, but it's matched by the Silas. And Malice punished for the invade.
Yeah, it's a bit greedy there. It's a bit greedy to take the red buff. I mean, he gets it, but giving that kill to Harbo is certainly not worth it.
2-0-3.
Yeah, he's a big boy right here. He's scary. And Silas is a snowball kind of champion as well. He loves skirmishing. He loves fighting.
Milt gets the snips, and Winter tried to look for the 1v1 and fails it. A little bit of vengeance for last game. This Gwen could prove to be a win condition by herself. Got ourselves a couple stacks on that Dark Seal, building towards the Lichbane first item by the looks of it.
Yeah, the Gwen builds are always quite interesting. You know, obviously Nash's Tooth is quite a nice option to get some more of that on hit when you're slicing around with your E. Yeah, Malignance has seen an increase. You know, Riftmaker as well. These kind of things. But Lichbane has been the more recent tech. We even saw Bash take it when he tried the Gwen jungle, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. I feel like jungle Gwen Nash's is kind of hard to replace.
Nash's Malignance, Nash's Riftmaker kind of done. So this is a really interesting one, because I saw a really interesting discussion on Twitter by a load of Gwen mains saying, look, Lichbane is a good item on Gwen. However, there are lots of items that are better. And it's not like Lichbane doesn't work on her. It's a great item. The move speed, the kind of burst is nice, but Malignance to have your ult up all the time is so nice. It's so much of your damage early. It means you can actually play the game for it. You're coming on in. Nash's in general, so nice. Riftmaker's okay, Deathcap, Shadow Flame, all of these things. Like, where do you fit the Lichbane into this build when you've got so many other priorities? And maybe they are just not being a little slow to pick up on it, and the Lichbane actually is better than they think. But there's been some debate, I think it's fair to say, where we leave it at, as to how good that item is in terms of the grand scheme of item efficiency on the champion.
Yeah, we're just seeing the top laners now just both opting to proxy. Not uncommon for a Scion, but Gwen can do it pretty easily as well with the snips to pick up the minions. Unfortunately, 2 of those minions did get by her, which will die to the turret, so she won't have access to those. A relatively quiet past few minutes here considering how chaotic that early game was here. I mean, we're still in the early game, but the first stages of the game was for Lightside with those kills. We do have 40 seconds for the Dragon. What Lightside are setting up for. Gonna get that crab, gonna get some vision down. You can see the ruddy side of the bot jungle is very lit up.
Oh, Racco. Look to try and play this one out. Has got the stolen sombrero available, does Harbo, but will not need to dance around that particular hat. And they find themselves the win in terms of the summoner spell advantage. And again, the Silas 2-0-3 up in farm could well be the win condition. Malice around, might want to turn this one here as Lightside gonna get caught on the wrong side of the jumper. Teleport coming on through. Bash now ults away, which means Malice has license to go forward with a devastating charge. And of course, that massive ultimate, the onslaught of shadows, brings them the kill. Harbo here with the stolen ultimate available, but Housewind had no way out really because they were stuck in the pits. It says, look, let me see if I can get something on the way out, and he just gives a kill over to Nata. Racco starting to trade out as a chain lash comes on forward from Harbo. Malice wants to start up the Dragon and will do so. Tor is caught under this pit, under this tower rather, no real way for him to join. It's Harbo still looking to menace Malice on the Dragon, but I think with the respawns being a little late from Bash, won't really be able to come and contest too freely. Top sides, or violence. You'll get to talk again in a second, Foxy. Violence is just occurring everywhere. What a game it's been. That'll be our 11th kill in 11 minutes. As a third kill for Built comes on through in the 1v1.
Yeah, unfortunately for Lightside, it's all kind of come apart a little bit. That early was fantastic. The start of this game was about as good as we could hope for Lightside, but it's been all ruddy since then, to be honest. They even get to secure that Dragon. The skirmish in the bot side, maybe Lightside could have contested a little bit more there, could have gone into that fight. Harbo did have TP, and he's strong in skirmishes. He's very strong. But Ruddy could not, Lightside could not leverage that. We get another fight at mid-side here. I think Bash is in trouble. No ulti, no flash.
Oh, just about fast enough. Not gonna be until the concussive blows come stacking on through, and Built gets himself a fourth kill. Gwen this game into 2 HP stackers in a Volibear and a Scion is laughing her way to a teamfight bank right now.
Yeah, no way out, but should be okay. Should be okay.
Arrow.
There's the Ashro.
Hang on. Forced to cleanse finally. The Chomper's bought a lot of time, and I think he was hoping he could just walk it off and tank the CC, but no dice there, is eventually forced to bow the Summoner. Topside Winter eating such a big chunk at this point. It's Titanic on the Scion too to try and help clear the way, but that means there is no tank on this Scion. Not even Merc Tread, so Built is doing so much damage to this Scion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of health, but Gwen's cool with that. Gwen's cool with taking down health stackers, so you're completely right. It's very focused on the lane and the pressure and the pushing with that Titanic Hydra.
Oh, another flash.
Oh, yeah, close one there. Bill actually, you know, if he lands maybe the ultis there, could potentially have actually brought him down again, but still, no flash on Bill on Winter. It's not looking good. It's not looking good in that top side.
1,500 gold lead, and the gold that was 1,500 ahead for Lightside is completely evened up. Mid lane, obviously the Silas still going to be a terror, as Malice forced to ult away in the jungle. Stolen onslaught of shadows for Harbo again. Continue to try and ingress onto this blue side jungle and try and keep the Hecarim farming at bay. Shojin complete already. Is going towards one of those builds, but there's a stolen onslaught of shadows. Racco needs to be really careful. There's a full combo available. Shockwave comes on through. Can continue to chase as the Sky Splitter gets a chunk, and Racco will be forced to reset again.
No ulti for Volibear. Used that in the aggressive move against Malice. Not going to be able to dive there. Malice himself kind of posturing, but going to decide against it. Has gone for the Spirit Shojin first item, so, you know, I mean, Hecarim has a lot of different builds that he can do.
Shojin's been the one of late to get more of it, because it gives you, because a lot of your tankiness now comes from your healing on your Aura of Dread, your W, right? So any way to get that up and get your Qs up more regularly feels really nice as Built. I think he just kills this turret. Winter, you need to leave. Does so. Bot lane now is occurring. Harbo is here, looking for the engage. The arrow goes wide. Now the Silas in a very tricky position, but so is the rest of Lightside. Malice, remember, no ult still. Alaric gonna blow down the door, shattered in the face of the ingress from Lightside.
And that's it. Very nicely played for Lightside. That dive yields them 2 kills. And to be honest, there's not a response from Ruddy. Racco was there, but not really able to get involved. Didn't have the ultimate himself, and Malice didn't have his either. Just kind of caught with their pants down a little bit there was Ruddy. Of course, Built being able to get a lot of stuff working top is sort of a bit of a savior here for that play if you are Ruddy. But I think this Herald here should have high priority for both teams, because if you're light side and you lose this Herald, if Built picks it up, you know, he could easily be cracking down that tier 2 top, and that's a lot of gold into his pocket at that point. Do you think he reaches potentially some form of critical mass?
Housewed, you need to be very careful. The Hallowed Mist comes on through, makes it very difficult for Housewed to find a good angle. Forced to flash over the wall. Harbo now here with the Bromos, with the Glacial Fissure comes on through, but Bill still doing so much damage into the Shockwave! Winter goes down, Bill running away, Malice onslaught in, trying to heal up, can't do it. Silas picks up a double, make that another. He gets absolutely every single one of them. Ash finally picks up one to make it not just the mid laner who's doing all the work, but 5, 0, and 6. The veteran player here to play in game 4.
12 kills for light side, 11 kill participation for Harbo in the mid lane. He has been solid throughout this series, and he continues to do so. Ruddy opting into a 4 versus 5. It's just a little disjointed. They know that Nat has bot side. Obviously, Jinx doesn't have teleport. He can't get there. You've got to be careful. You've got to respect it. And light side just coming out on top on these brain moves, you know, on these macro plays. Malice still needs a bit more time before he's useful. And it's just not working so far here for Ruddy.
I think they thought they caught Housewed, and they kind of had, but Harbo is quick enough and gets over the wall with the Glacial Fissure that he steals, that it buys enough time. Of course, now a lot of those cooldowns are burned. Ruddy can head on over here. Built went back and bought a full Shadow Flame, by the way, so it's now much more dangerous. And Winter has stepped on forwards, gets knocked out of his decimating smash, courtesy of the devastating charge. Make sure you don't confuse those two. Good shield, prevents the needlework from getting the kill. Blue team steals the dragon. Light side get that one. Massive onslaught of Shadow. Housewed goes down.
Dead.
Malice gets a massive kill alongside the side of Nata, bringing down Harbo. A huge moment. Hatoris now back away in the mid lane, but I don't think he's got all that far to go. The door comes up. And the zap flies along, but you can dodge as much as you want. You can't dodge through stone. You're not a Kane. And they pick up 3 kills, but they do lose the dragon. I think that might be a small prize for Lightside, to say the least.
I feel like Ruddy will be okay with this one. Here comes the ulti from Sion. Okay, that came out of nowhere, but I'm not going to get too much out of it. Ruddy just want to reset here. I think Racco's potentially wasting a bit of time on this one. The key moment for that fight, obviously, Harbo. He falls. Once we can, once Ruddy can just dogpile in and bring Harbo down, then that's problematic for Lightside in these team fights. It's kind of, you know, Harbo versus Built to a certain extent in these fights, and a lot of the efficacy of Harbo revolves around which ultimate he's able to steal. He has some good ones to take, but obviously some are much better than others, and didn't really have what he wanted in that last fight.
Yeah, and still a little early into the game to be stealing ult left, right, and center mid team fight. At least himself towards that Lich Bane now. It's a relatively squishy build though from the start. We've seen things like the Cosmic Drive and the Zhonya's a little bit more utility, cooldown, and obviously the invulnerability to get yourself towards more of those rotations. Very, very significant we've seen, but Harbo going for that much more damage-heavy build. It's great in the 1v1s and great if you don't get interrupted. It's a bit scarier if you do get caught up in the CC, as we kind of saw there. Ruddy find themselves within touching distance of the golds. Didn't get the dragon, which is a bit of a frustration, but we do start to have to ask the questions. I find a way to phrase that correctly about who the hell manages this Gwen in a side lane, because it's going to have to be the Silas, but I don't know how easy that's going to be on a consistent basis.
That's it. It's really hard if you're light side looking for a way to answer what this Gwen is throwing forward right here. Light side have done a good job of still being able to find the fights, and to be honest, I think a little mistake from Ruddy is to group up, but Winter, yeah, I think he's in trouble. Got flash and nope,
nice way to get on cross the ultimate force the fear back in the other direction.
Light side
going to be donated another kill.
Light side have started Nash up in response to this. This
Surface,
is
we need to
early.
go top now. There we go.
Yeah.
He can do it pretty fast. That is an Ashe with 2 items and the Silas. Overcomes Nata and Rako. Looking to get the shockwave. Only gets the volley bear. Into the backline goes the Leona with a big Zenith blade. But now Built is here. Looking to snip him down. The Ashe will surely fall. Looking to take away the Baron. It's taken by Malice. Finally turns up. Flash over the wall for House One, but there's nowhere to go. He's dead as well. 3 kills to Ruddy. They tried to revenge Baron. And Harbo is on the wrong end of a very large pair of scissors. That's a close shave for him. It's Sweetie Todd in time for Halloween.
Oh man, and that's it. Lightside thought they had the opportunity while the dedication from the jungler and the strongest member of Ruddy was bot side. They start up the Nash as it spawns. It's sneaky, but it's not quite sneaky enough, and that just might be a huge throw for Lightside. Giving that over to Ruddy as well. They lose all their members, they lose the Nash. Oh, it's tragic stuff right here. A game that was going pretty well for Lightside. They were certainly holding their own and really putting it to Ruddy at times too. That's a really tough one. That's a tough one to swallow.
It is. They've now got a 9-kill Gwen, who's very nearly in a death cap with 9 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. If she fancies picking up a book from the library while she's at it, it's very tricky. And quietly, Nata as well, 5-0 and 2. Hasn't died this game despite the attention bot side. Went for the Collector first on this Jinx. Got the Infinity Edge now as well. Looking towards a rapid fire cannon, you have to imagine. And this Jinx, if she finds a good combo, is going to do unspeakable things to some of those HP builders who haven't got all that much armor yet to their name. The Scion in particular, obligated to go towards the Hollow Radiance here to try and manage the Gwen. And that's been a little unsuccessful to say the least. And armor, a long time coming for a lot of these members.
Yeah, just look at the minimap now though. 22 minutes in, all the waves, every lane, it's all getting pushed in. It's tough, man, it's tough. I mean, tell a lie, the top lane has been shoved out by Lightside. But I think Ruddy are totally fine working this this 2-lane stack. Lightside might be looking for a collapse though. Volibear and Sasa coming from mid, but
Yarrow goes wide, Harbo was pinged, he's not here yet. Volibear finally coming on forwards, but Malice steps up with the Aura Dread and the devastating charge to force the Scion back into the team. Your front line is not that. It's not even a line. Washed away by the tide, that one written in sand. Drawn is the better term there, considering the metaphor, but either way, Ruddy now head towards the mid lane turret with the man advantage, and no one wants to get through that Gwen. The Braum as well standing in front, so difficult to find the engage. Harbo just has to sort of sit there and watch another inhibitor fall. Harbo, interrupt to back, Alaric throws up the door, can look to get a passive down, will do so shortly. They get the train of Glacial Fizzers. It's looking like an iceberg out here. Nata flashes away from the Solar Flare, just about alive. Throws the rocket down, gets excited, looking to run away as Malice will onslaught of shadows and sacrifice himself in order to get his team out. Doesn't mean that the jungler is dead while the dragon is spawned, but Bash needs to be afraid because look who's back! Gwen is here! Welcome to the best set of armor you've ever had made for yourself. It just comes with a few bloody holes courtesy of those needles. Built is a menace with a death cap.
yeah, it's disgusting. 3 items at 23 minutes. Snip, snip, snipping her way through Lightside. It's painful, man. It's so painful. Incredibly hard to deal with, despite the fact that Lightside brought the enemy jungler down. Losing Harbo, it's got to be a bit of a red flag for you. You've got to understand, okay, Harbo's our guy. He's our man. We've got to play through him. And if he's not around, you just can't do it, you know. And he really has struggled ever since that Herald play, you know, where he was like he went 5-0 and 6, right? He's now died 3 times, gone 0-3-2. It's not enough. It's not enough for him when his team relies on him to make these plays. They need him to make these plays and these skirmishes. You know, I'm not even necessarily pinning this on Harbo. I'm just saying the fights just have not gone the way of Lightside, and Harbo cannot be effective in these fights. And Lightside is struggling because of it.
And I'm looking at it as well, I'm thinking, like, well, look, you've got your engage tools with Bash and Housewind, but where's the combo, right? You guys go in first, buy some time, maybe trade your lives for it, yes, but then Harbour will have the opportunity to go on forwards, because it feels like if Ruddy have their cooldowns at this point, it's very difficult to play the game. Yeah, Malice has died a few times, but he's proving quite difficult to manage with the rest of the team regardless, just by providing so much disruption with the fear. And let's talk about that Gwen. Let's talk about this Jinx, who didn't go for the rapid fire, of course, gone for the Hurricane to spread the love a little bit more. But if you don't kill both the Gwen and the Jinx, these extended fights are proving nearly impossible to win. The arrow lands, Natsu immediately cleanses, but the turnaround comes from Bash. They finally find an angle in, but it's just left built free to throw all the needles in the wall going on forwards. It's a voodoo doll out there. They are full of needles, and it's a cursed fight for Lightside. Nowhere to go, not quite Halloween, but it's still a nightmare. A horror show for Lightside in these last few fights. Ruddy, they slip up in the early game. They slip up in game through. It's 3 rather. As I fumble my words briefly, Ruddy don't fumble the game regardless. 3-1 to them, and in largely dominant fashion.
That game 3, Lightside showed a lot of life, and in this one as well, the first 10 minutes, it was they did some really good stuff. Way more than I was expecting to see out of these guys in this series. I think Lightside actually even had a chance. Like, I'd say this game, there was moments where they were in a position to actually do something and maybe even win if the game had continued in such a fashion that they found themselves in to begin with. And like, dude, in that situation, we'd then be going to game 5.
Yeah.
Like, game 5 against Ruddy, like, we thought it would be a quick 3-0, like a quick 3-0, and it's great. Like, the fact that Lightside put up this much of a fight, I'm incredibly impressed with what they did. They never rolled over, and Ruddy, I mean, to be honest, a lot to review. You know, you won the series, but let's be real, there were quite a few mistakes there, macro-wise as well. I just think a few parts that yeah, definitely gonna want to fix moving forward.
Look, we thought they were going to be undefeatable, but we saw some chinks in the armor today, and perhaps our interview can tell us a little bit more about that. Artram's got an interview with the AD carry of Lightside and a cat video before we go. Let's throw with that beautiful last image.
Just like that, we got a cat and we got our toddies. How you doing, my man?
Fine. How about you?
I'm intrigued, you know. I'm intrigued. I look into the roster. I know it's a full-on new roster for LLS. Not a lot of time to practice. You have to face off versus Ruddy with names that played in Cloud9 and all that. Everybody was expecting a 3-0. It wasn't like that at Toddies. It wasn't like that.
I mean, first game, I think it was kind of good from us. We could have won it.
Mm-hmm.
Second game I think was our mental that kept us behind. Third game they trolled a lot. We took advantage of this. And fourth game as well, it was like really over. But we just decided to give them the opportunity to come back. So I think we would have just go to fifth game.
I keep looking at the fourth game at the beginning of the game, and I felt like there was so much going for the LLS. Can you look back into the game and see where you believe the game just slipped from your hands on the fourth one? Because I do believe LLS could have taken this to the fifth one.
On us, like, I think with Shine, we shouldn't have like extended that much. Because like we knew Sheka was bot. So yeah, we just think that we could do nice with getting out of there, but we didn't have to be it. We just lost.
But hey, let's focus on good things. This also says that this team has a lot to offer. How does this team come to be? Like, how did you guys just sprout from the earth? Like, how does LLS revamp into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just trying to make a full new roster. So they just find 5 guys with potential and 5 guys who want to win. And I think that's what we try to do.
What's your main objective for 2025? Because now it's a small break, you can enjoy like vacation, but
yeah.
What's 2025
I
for
mean,
you?
my main objective is to play in RL1 on minor divisions for sure, and look to compete for a MEA spot, for a place on MEA Masters top 4.
If you had to look into League of Legends in your career, what would be your greatest achievement? Like, the thing you want the most? And if you say Worlds, I'm gonna chase you down. I want to know what would it be like fulfillment for you as a player?
To play on LEC. I mean, I'm like 17 years old. I have a lot of time ahead me. So yeah, I think winning LEC.
That's big. And if you look into the everything that surrounds you, Ataris, what is the thing that drives you the most? Is it someone? Is it something? What drives you as a player?
I mean, mostly like my passion for the game. I really liked it. I would really like to go pro
Just the
and
passion
be
to be bigger,
independent
man.
from life. So like having a job, your hobby, I think is really good. So yeah.
I see that, Ataris, I see that. Man, I don't know what's gonna happen for 2035, but you boys played really good today. I think that was a world where you might have taken already. This is a lesson above all, but also this is a show of power you guys have and talent. So keep that in mind and keep climbing, my dude. Thank you so much. Have a pleasure.
Thank you
Have a
so
nice
much. Have a good one. Bye bye. Good night.
You know what?
That was
It's
a world.
it's really refreshing to, I don't know, if you've been in League as long as I have, it's often surrounded by cynical voices that like, I jokingly am like, oh, I've played this game too long, I can't stop. And then you hear someone who's like genuinely playing for their passion for the game, who genuinely wants to like climb, improve and whatnot. I heard that from Hadoras, so yeah, I wish the dude every success, and of course everyone from that light side roster, because I think they do deserve some success.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I was a little down and out on light side after the first 2 games. They were very quick. There wasn't a single long game in this series. Every game was, sub 25
Decisive.
minutes. Very, very explosive. I think light side, yes, there's definitely a lot of stuff they need to work out going forwards. If this roster does carry through as the roster for summer, there's a serious amount of potential there. They just need to realize that potential. That game is obviously probably going to be a real kicker because they, realistically, from how well that started, should have tried to hold on to that lead. And unfortunately, they kind of threw it out the window. But I don't know if that's like a criticism of them or if that's just props to Ruddy. I think Ruddy played a very, very good game to pull that back. We've seen Ruddy win from ahead, no surprises. We've seen them lose from behind, no surprises. The ability to bring a game that has gone that bad at the beginning back is big, because Archie, you off air was saying, one of the biggest weaknesses, there we go, of Ruddy is they can get their head a little bit. Their mental can kind of collapse after bad games, and it looked like coming into this game their mental was a little fried, and that actually ended up not being the case. They ended up bringing back a pretty rough game, and while I'm sure they're annoyed it wasn't a 3-0, at the same time they did have fun in game 3, so there's a little bit of forgiveness they should give themselves for that. Maybe they shouldn't have had fun, and I don't think they will again. I think that will be the last time we see a Riven. I really hope for their sake it's the last time we see a Riven.
Yeah.
So yeah, they need
A
to
game like that.
I think the big thing is I definitely have lowered my expectations already. I after the first 2 games was like, these guys are the best team in this tournament right now. I need to see more from them before I'm willing to say that. I think they're definitely still top 3 as it stands, but definitely not confident top 1 right now. So I want to see how their game goes versus either Venom Crest or BFG. Realistically, it's probably going to be Venom Crest. But versus whoever they play versus, I need to see a confident win from them there.
After today, though, Hipro, we were like, oh, ready 3-0s, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So to then look towards tomorrow and say Venom Crest 3-0s with such certainty is not something I necessarily feel like I can do. So, like, for
Gotta be
me,
bold, right?
eyes on Bitfix to see if they can do something awesome. That's where I'm at.
Let's see what happens on that one, but I want to see graphics. I want to see damage. I want to see numbers. To me.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go. My
That's good.
expectations have been
Yeah.
met.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah. I don't know how the draft went and where Gwen was picked as last pick counter to Cyan, but it's not an easy matchup. That's why when I saw him take the Bows route of I'm done with the lane, I'm going to proxy, I was happy. But then in return to Lena was like, nah, this is not the Baal's way. You lost yourself, son. You lost yourself.
Built gave up.
Hubris.
Built gave up one too many kills, and then went, that's enough for me, and just put that game on his shoulders. And honestly, without Built, I don't think there's a world where Ruddy would have been able to come back. I think the later stages definitely came down to Natter on the Jinx. His positioning, not as solid as Ash in game one, but they also had a lot more backline access on light side. And he played those fights very well with that backline access. And Built, I think, gave them the opening to get to there.
In the green room, though, Hiprain, the last team fight was literally Natter stepping forward to hit the turret, saying to light side, fight me, engage on me, I dare you. And he still survived through all of it. Flashes through, survives the play, they end out the series.
No criticism of Natter. Even on the Yasuo game, he was the shining light. He also did Giga Throw his positioning on the Yasuo, but I mean, that's a melee champion versus a ranged champion, so the positioning is always going to be slightly different. But yeah, I mean, I think while Built had a very, very good series, Natter probably is my player of this series for Ruddy. He consistently, other than game 3, but game 3 is such a write-off because it was such a car crash for Ruddy. I mean, losing 2 inhibs at 19 minutes should have said a lot. I think if you ignore their for fun game, Natter was consistently very good at positioning, and like you said, Brackish, even when his positioning was bad, it was kind of like a ploy. It was a bait, wasn't it? So he could outplay off the back of that, knowing that his team had his back. And I'm excited for this Ruddy roster because they're not so strong, but they look infallible. We saw the weaknesses in them today. We've seen that gods can bleed, and I have genuine expectations to see, you know, if this team stays together post Aurora Cup, what the growth they could go through, because I think there's a lot of room for growth in this Ruddy, which is nice because it'll be a fun adventure to follow.
That's a big question. We have 3 out of 4 teams moving into semifinals, so let's see, who do we have already stored up? Verdant versus RGM, that's going to be on the next week, followed by Ruddy versus, we don't know, Venom Crest or BFG. They're going to be playing tomorrow at the same time, so be sure to tune in and follow NLC on all social media so you can be up and paired up with what is happening on the Aurora Cup and even more for 2025.
Yeah.
For today, we are done. So, Brackish, Brit, thank you so much for joining us. Let me know. Final words.
Let's get some more upsets. Much as I'm a UK fan, like, Bitfix, take a game off them at least.
I like that. Confidence. I saw Venom Crest throughout the entire Swiss. They're looking clean, boy.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Clean. We don't know. Hip right.
I think both of our semi-finals are going to be really good. Verdant versus RGM. That looks like it's going to be a really, really exciting game. But I have to admit, Ruddy versus question mark right now, realistically, probably going to be Venom Crest. That's the most exciting game of the tournament so far for me. Like I said, it's mostly just down to I want to see what this Ruddy team can actually become. It's going to be a banger, but tomorrow also potentially we could be in for a really good series.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We have an amazing show stored for you tomorrow, so don't skip a beat. For both of you, thank you so much for joining me on the desk. For production, thank you so much for your hard work as well. And for you back at home, please join us tomorrow, because without you, it's not even fun. Come on, it's not the same without you at NLC. It ends up for today, and until tomorrow, keep climbing. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You can't tell me what to do.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.